Do you ever wonder what the guy next to you has in his plug bag when he's out fishing you? What about if he's John Skinner, the author of Striper Pursuit and The Fishing with Bucktails, two of the most popular books in recent years? Well, we got even better for you than finding out what's in his bag. We managed to nail John down for a few minutes to show us everything that's in the back of his truck when he's fishing. So let's take a look.
I fished last night, so I've got night stuff in here. I got darters, bottle plugs, um, bucktails, needles, but no poppers. And I always have to throw a pencil in there. I mean, obviously, I don't need to carry a lot of different things in here because I got the truck right next to me. But, pretty much this is it. And there's a bag here with stuff that I really haven't been using much, but I carry anyway. Different, I guess it's like a tsunami metal lip. But the standards are the Gibbs and lots of super strikes. But pretty much pencils, the super strike little necks, the needles, both weighted, unweighted. What else we got here? These things, these are deadly. My friend the other day was out working out in the boat and working some whitewater, and it was all small bass. He had over 40 little tiny bass, and then he watched a 46-pounder come up and grab one of these. It's a 7-inch tsunami. He said the whole time he's thinking, oh my God, a little 7-inch soft plastic, how's the hook going to hold? But it held, and he got the fish. And so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I guess the saying is even elephants eat peanuts or something like that. But this was really a deadly lure when the sand eels were around last year. And it casts about as well as a bucktail. But there were days last year on the sand eel run where, boy, if you didn't have this, you were out of business. And 7-inch to 8-inch, you can just see there's bucktails sticking out everywhere. Always got a lot of bucktails going. What I don't use during the daytime, hardly at all, a very little success, are the darters. Great night plugs. This is the standard, the Super Strike. If you had no other darter but this darter right here, yellow Super Strike, you're going to be just fine. This is a great plug. But I've got some other stuff too. There's a Tactical Anglers, a little bit smaller darter. Something that has become a real favorite of mine, the Tsunami Talking Poppers. And yeah, this one's beat up, but it's beat up for a reason because it's seen a lot of use, a lot of fish. This is the 6-inch. I bumped the hooks up one size, and this one's not loaded, but a lot of times what I'll do is just drill a hole, add some water, about 6 cc's, make it a little bit heavier, but it can still float. Just a dynamite plug. So I always have those in the bag. Oh, yeah, and boy, I've got so many plugs. Why would I never need to buy any more bomber-like lures? But, anybody who's been fishing the last couple of years knows about the Daiwa Salt Pro. Yeah, it just casts great. It works heavier water better than most of the minnow plugs. So these are all the things that I write about in the book. I mean, these are all the standard tools. If you've got, the Super Strike, darters, bottles, needles, the poppers, some Gibbs pencils, Salt Pros, bucktails, tsunami sand eels. Yeah, that pretty much covers a lot of it. And you know what? People get all worked up about colors and all the nice finishes. Here's my favorite bomber right here, right? This thing, when I reach for a bomber, this is the one I go for right here. It's obviously, really beat up. This is an old one. You can tell because it's got a screw eye in the back. And the ones they make today are through wired. These older ones with the screw eyes, they swim a little bit higher. I like them a little bit better. It's not to say that the newer ones are no good. They certainly are. But yeah, there's my favorite bomber right there. That's the one I go for. All right, so yeah, if we're going to do some fishing here, the tide's a little more than halfway in. What I looked for as I drove down the beach, there's a line of whitewater. So if I cast It's too deep for me to get out to that bar. There's a trough there, but the troughs are so shallow right now that I don't really have any confidence that there would be fish in them. On the higher ends of the tides, you can see the beach has got some pitch to it, and even a little more pitch down there. On the higher ends of the tides, then there will be some water. So I've driven around and found like a section here where I can hit a little bit of water, so I can at least try to work this. I feel like there's probably enough water in there to hold some fish, but at this point, there's not too much around. There's some smalls around, but you never know. There could be something in there.
One thing about a bottle plug is that you should have some type of current to fish them. But they're hitting the profile most of the time. They're not necessarily hitting, a pretty looking plug. As long as it's swimming good, that's what you want.
With all those wonderful meetings, public meetings, but the truth of the matter is we really have to look deep into what is going on. My personal feeling is, what's going to happen after all these wonderful meetings?
Twist. A lot of guys complain that when they're casting, after a few casts, they have to straighten the rod back up because it twists, and they're blaming the rod.
I can't tell you, even in the good years, how many times I sit there going, I hate the fall, I hate the fall. And the Tsunami Talking Poppers, and yeah, this one's beat up, but it's beat up for a reason because it's seen a lot of use, a lot of fish. This is the 6-inch. I bumped the hooks up one size.
No contact equals no fish with any plugs that you're using.
A parabolic rod is a rod that bends all the way through the spectrum of the rod, all the way through the reel seat. A fast action rod is a rod that just bends in the very tip.
The easiest way to lose a flashlight is to not have it attached to anything. You put it in your mouth in the middle of the night, you got a fish in your hands, what are you going to do with it? But you can't put it in a pocket, you're holding a fish, so...
I see a lot of the newer guys, they want to go out and they want to surf fish and they want to know where and when, but they don't ask why.
And to get into a blitz of bass, say even in the daytime, where they're 30, 40 pounders, and you're getting them every cast, you don't know what that thrill is.
We're all friggin' nuts. We're surf fishermen.